There's a reason that so many pro triathletes are switching to Roka wetsuits, and it might not be the reason that you think. What's up everyone out there? Taren here from A-Race, coming to you with the Roka Maverick Pro Fullsuit wetsuit. This piece of gear is probably the piece of gear that I know best out of anything that I have, and it is very near and dear to my heart. And that is because this is the wetsuit that I used all throughout the course of training for and doing the 17-mile marathon swim that I did back in 2014. I probably have a total of about 150 to 200 miles in this wetsuit. So putting on this thing is comfy. It's like a 15-year-old pair of pajama bottoms. I ended up getting hooked up with the Roka guys in 2013 when I was down in Kona. They're all super good dudes, by the way. And the founders, Rob Canales and Kurt Spencer, told me about how they decided to start the company after they were training for their first ever half Ironman and they didn't like any of the wetsuits that they tried. Rob and Kurt were superstar stud swimmers at Stanford, but they realized that the majority of triathletes out there weren't so studly, and one of the biggest things that they needed help with was getting their legs higher in the water so that they could be more aerodynamic isn't the right word. Hydrodynamic? Fluid dynamic? Basically, they just needed help with having less sinky legs. What the guys did starting at the bottom of the wetsuit was they extended the material further down the leg about an inch more towards the ankle. To make sure that the legs were still flexible so that you could kick, they ran this super duper flexible 1.5 mil strip up the side of the legs. They also added another 1.5 mil ankle release panel down at the bottom so that you can kick off this wetsuit pretty easily. A swimmer can actually be too flexible in certain areas when they're in the water. If your core isn't tight, you can snake from side to side, causing drag in the water, so Roka added a stiffer 5 mil front and back core centerline strip and 3 mil core stabilizer panels on the side. I can say that this is one of the best features of this suit. You really don't have to worry about keeping yourself aligned in the water. Staying straight just kind of takes care of itself. Roka used the thinnest 1.5 mil neoprene on the sides of the suit and more 1.5 mil number 40, which is an extremely flexible neoprene, on the upper chest and around the shoulders. The guys also added cuffs around the neck and the wrist to make sure that water couldn't scoop into these areas and slow you down like a wind sail in the water. And there's a very thin, almost like a windbreaker type material on the forearms that allows you to feel the catch at the start of the swim stroke. All of these different panels all over the suit takes a lot of work to weld them all together and make it function well. And that's a big part of what contributes to the higher price of these more premium wetsuits. I was pretty skeptical of the difference that I would see going from an entry-level wetsuit to a premium wetsuit, and I can say hands down, it is amazingly noticeable. It is more flexible in the shoulders, body position is better, the roll is better. It's kind of like going from an entry-level aluminum road bike with clip-on aero bars to a true time trial beast. The thinner material, however, it's not without its drawbacks. It does lead to a more tear-prone suit, and you have to be really, really careful putting it on. The Roka guys actually gave me a bit of a training session on how to put this on in the best way possible so that you can avoid as many tears as you can. Don't ever use your fingernails on this wetsuit. Grab the suit with the pads of your fingers, not the nails, as you're yanking it up the legs. You can also pull the suit up from the inside as you get further up the legs and as you put on the top half of the suit. You can almost jump and pop your arms through the armholes and shove the arms up into place. Don't yank them into place. You can actually jump a little bit to get your arms through the armholes and then push instead of pull your arms into place, and then grab those forearm panels and pull it up a little bit tighter, getting as much material into the shoulders as possible. You want to get as much material as you can with that triangle design sitting on top of the bone that sits above your shoulder. So remember, don't ever use your fingernails to yank on this wetsuit and pull it up. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a very expensive wetsuit with a heck of a lot of repairs in it. Speaking of repairs, that is my biggest complaint about the Roka suit. It is so delicate that if you look at both the armpits, I've actually had to patch repair both of the armpits because both sides have rubbed away some holes. Granted, I know that most triathletes out there aren't going to be swimming for 17 miles straight or putting on 100 or 200 miles of training over the course of a summer, but it's something that you should know that it's a trade-off. When you go to thinner material to get that flexibility around the shoulders, you're going to have a wetsuit that might be a little bit more delicate. So why are pro triathletes moving to Roka? It's not sponsorship, believe it or not. Roka isn't buying those athletes. I know through the grapevine that a lot of pro triathletes out there are actually trying to get out of their existing wetsuit sponsorship contracts to go towards the Roka wetsuit lineup. So is this a better wetsuit, or is it even the best triathlon wetsuit in the world? Maybe. I don't really know, because it's the only high-end triathlon wetsuit that I've ever tried. That said, I think that it means a lot when pro triathletes all around the world are giving it the stamp of approval, and without dollars in the picture, are trying to move towards this wetsuit to get faster. So with this being such a good wetsuit that I've been really happy with, and with the price being comparable to basically all other high-end triathlon wetsuits at just under $800, if you're looking to upgrade your wetsuit game, I think that you'd be doing yourself a real disservice not at least trying the Roka Fullsuit wetsuit. That is it for today. Like I said, I know this wetsuit really well, so if there's anything that I didn't answer or forgot to mention, by all means put it in the comments below and I'll answer those questions for you. I'll be putting a link in the description to where you can find this wetsuit for a good price online, and when I put it together shortly, I'm going to have a review of the Roka Sim Shorts, which I've also used and know really well, so that'll all be in the description. As always, if you like this video, we would really appreciate a thumbs up below, and if you really like this video, subscribe so that you can see more of these reviews and tips that we put together. Check us out at www.aracenutrition.com and hit us up on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and Instagram, all at A Race Nutrition. Stomp on the pedals out there. See ya!